Hello and welcome in. We are back. This is Felix Reyes here. 31 days of best ball, day 16. You're probably looking at my screen and wondering, why aren't we getting a draft ready? Well, we have that getting ready on the other end. We are currently waiting for 3 people to join us in a best ball mania. But before we get that started, we got the big news. Earlier today, we found out that Ashton Jeanty was hurt, and everything coming out of the news and the media outlets, heck, even in our group chats, we're not positive about our guy here, Ashton Jeanty. And we just got breaking news from Ian Rappaport that all things right now sound to be really good. So let's start off with what the news is now, and that is Ashton Jeanty, who had to be helped off of a practice field today, is believed to have sprained his ankle. Sources tell us. Adam Schefter and me, mind you, they're both in that same network now. Las Vegas still are unsure how long he will be out, but it is not considered a long-term injury, and the organization is breathing a sigh of relief. Wow. I went on Twitter just a little while ago watching people, just overall getting into drafts and getting Ashton Jeanty in like pick 111. I saw in one. The other one I saw 9th round. It was all over the place. And I just kept thinking to myself prior to hopping on and saying, all right, well, we got to play different scenarios here, right? Most nights when we are drafting 2 best ball manias. And I was planning to go into a draft to see how far Ashton Jeanty would drop before we selected him. And then the next draft, we were going to see how high should we go before selecting Mike Washington. Well, those things all considered are very, very important here, because there still could be a bit of a fall for Ashton Jeanty given what we just read on the Ian Rappaport report. And it was just simply saying they're still not unsure how long he would be out. They do not believe it's a long-term injury, although everyone thought it would be. So that is truly a sigh of relief. But the question is, how many weeks will he be out? Could it be 1 month? Could it be 2 months? We really don't know. So we will be discussing that as we move along here. We are currently selecting from the 9th spot, Best Ball Mania. If you guys are just joining us for the very first time here, hit that like button, show support by subscribing to the channel, and hit that notification button. We have been streaming every day here for 16 days straight. 31 days of best ball. We got our guy Money Ain't a Thing. Boom. Complete madness for about 3 hours in best ball drafts. Try to get lucky with the sick team. Didn't benefit. Bummer. Yes, same here. Like I said, Money Ain't a Thing. I was trying to hop on in, trying to get a draft in, and I was hoping to see, because this was the perfect time to get one of those combinations. All right, CeeDee Lamb. We're going to go ahead and select CeeDee Lamb here with the 9th pick. And then we shall see. Maybe Ashton Jeanty drops to pick number 16. Should we consider him there? I still think so. Again, getting this type of information as quick as we got it, the real question again is, how long is he out for? But we can also play the game right now, since we know we're going to be doing another one, and push him out, maybe to see how far he goes out, right? Well, our next pick won't be till pick 33. I doubt he even gets there. But we'll see if anyone's reacting to this news quick enough. So we are 3 picks away. We just announced the news, the breaking news that Ian Rappaport just put out there. Adam Schefter as well. Everything was literally trending towards just possibly Jeanty being out for the whole season. That was what everyone was reading into all the reports that we heard earlier today, which kind of threw things for a spin. All right, let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna see if we can push Jeanty out a little bit. And then this is where that conversation goes, right? Pick 33, is that a good spot? 3rd round, 4th round? If you know he's gonna be out for a few weeks, I would think so, especially given the conversations I've had on this channel about Malik Neighbors in the past. I was selecting him in that 3rd, 4th round area. So I think that might be a good spot, and nonetheless, he's get taken here at pick number 18. So again, something to keep a very close eye on as we move forward. We'll be doing another Best Ball Mania shortly after this, so we'll see how things shake up a little bit. But I do believe now, for sure, Mike Washington Jr. is someone you are going to prioritize a little bit more in terms of how high you start drafting him. And a lot of it just has a lot to do with this scenario, of course, and how many weeks Ashton Genty could possibly out for. So the latest, once again, if you are just joining us for the very first time, welcome on in. Hit that like button, show support by subscribing to the channel. Ian Rappaport said, Ashton Genty, who had to be helped off the practice field today. Mind you, in the earlier reports that we are hearing from other beat writers, were saying that even the players were on their knees praying. I mean, it just sounded awful. I think what I read was like an underthrown ball that Kirk Cousins threw, and he went for it, and that's where he got hit. But anywho, is believed to have is believed to have sprained his ankle. Sources tell Adam Schefter and me, Las Vegas still are unsure how long he will be out, but it is not considered, keywords, a long-term injury, and the organization is breathing a sigh of relief. And let me tell you something, we are all breathing a sigh of relief. If you have any bit of exposure to Ashton Genty, if you were doing any home leagues right now and drafting Genty as well, that news really sucked earlier. And like our guy Money Anything mentioned, there was just complete madness for the last couple hours, hearing different things as far as where Genty was going and how high Mike Washington Jr. went. Very intrigued to see some of those combinations go out there. I'm sure many will be posting about that tomorrow, tonight, all throughout the night. We'll see how that goes. But I am still curious to see how far does Genty still fall, given that we don't have a timeline right now for how long he'll be out with this ankle, this sprained ankle. Could be a high sprained ankle. I mean, we don't know. We haven't gotten much more information than what we got, but the information we did get is good given everything we were hearing earlier today. All right, we are about to come back up on the board here. There are some really solid options on the board. We like these running backs here. I'm going to go ahead and take, let's go with Jeremiah Love. I do love taking Jeremiah Love. We're going to take a third round Jeremiah Love at pick number 33 here. All right, we got Lito in the chat. Welcome back to the stream. I bet he still misses a little bit of time. Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree. The question is how long, right? Is it 4 weeks? Is it 5 weeks? Is it 2? I mean, we still have, 3 weeks before the season officially starts? 3 weeks as of today, before the NFL officially kicks off on that Sunday, the big Sunday slate. So we'll see how much time they're giving him, because if they say 6 weeks and we count, of course, these 3 weeks, things may look a little bit differently here. We got Sir Dinesh on in as well. Welcome back to the stream. He says, I am trading Achane and Pickens for JSN tutorial in depth running back. I already have JT and Ken every 10 TPR. Is that good or no? I'll be honest. I think it's still too early to be making a lot of moves. I think right now I would sit and kind of just get a feel for how things play out. All right, we are back up on the board. We've been talking about this the last couple nights. The drop on Garrett Wilson has been big, but honestly, I want to get some Javonte Williams now that we have CeeDee Lamb, and with all the conversation we keep getting about the possibility of, and there was a big little ADP drop there too, so we want to take a little bit of that value. So we're going to start off with a 3 running back and 1 wide receiver. The RB2 role has been in discussion right now as far as it's going to be Malik Davis. Is it going to be Jadon Blue? And if you guys have been watching my stream, you guys know the exposure I currently have with Jadon Blue, which is pretty high right now. I'm in the upper 20s because I think when it's all said and done, he still has a role carved out for him. And that to me is obviously the most important thing. Now, how long will Malik Davis be playing, more that RB2 quote unquote role? Well, we'll see. I have no idea right now how true that is to be. As of now, he looked pretty decent in that preseason game. So there is a leg there. I think the question more becomes, if something were to happen to Javonte Williams, right? How does that backfield then look? Because we can name Malik Davis RB2 right now, but does Malik Davis carry on a full workload like Javonte Williams has carried this past season and is expected to do again this season? I don't think so. And that's where this Jadon Blue conversation really comes into play. Like I said, I do believe there is a big role still here for him that is ready to be carved out for him. So we'll see how that plays out. But yes, Garrett Wilson has taken a massive drop in my opinion here. One round, complete one round here. So I'm starting to like Garrett Wilson where he's dropping lately. We got Money Anything saying, I think he'll fall towards the end of the second over the next few weeks. Hey man, count me in. I'll be taking a lot of Genty. Currently right now, I believe we are at 20%, 18% exposure on Ashton Genty. So it's going to go up more if we're getting him in that back end 2-3 turn. 2 games minimum is what Lito is saying. Very, very interesting for sure. And quite honestly, this is why folks start saying, hey, this is why I wait a little bit longer before doing redraft leagues, or hey, this is typically when I want to add a little bit more to my best ball teams, which is kind of what we were doing. We are, by the end of tonight, we should have 75 best ball teams over here on Underdog. So I still have a little ways to go, but it gives me a little bit of exposure based off how things are shaping up, including the ADP runs, right, that we're getting. We got some more news to talk about, but obviously the Ashton Genty news is the biggest one tonight. And it still is, because it's also is going to impact where Mike Washington Jr. gets selected as well. Lito says, with his injuries, you think Bauer starts creeping closer to that 2-3 turn? I don't think so, man. I know I've read some things. Here's the thing. The run game is very important in Clint Kubiak's system. So I think Mike Washington Jr. is someone that they were already excited to trot out there. But I also believe now with cut days coming up, and here we're going to go up and I'll answer that question. Okay, he meant to say the 1-2 turn. Okay, so you think he might go up? Let's see here. Let's go. We're going to go wide receiver. Let's go Roma Dunze. I'm going to go ahead and select Roma Dunze. Carnell Tate, saw a little bit of him tonight. We can talk a little bit about that shortly here. But yeah, there is a massive run here on running backs. Still on the board, but yeah, he said 1-2 turn. So it's the opposite. You think he's actually going to do a little better. There's been conversation online about how if Ashton Genty were to be out, how it does impact the offense, right? The coverages that now Brock Bowers gets, because now the run game wouldn't be there to kind of take away a little bit from the focus that the passing game would have gotten. So that does change a little bit, but honestly, we still don't really know. We're going to see how Clint Kubiak's system is going to look for this team, and I know that was one thing that we were all excited about. We have Josh Gilliam in. Welcome to the stream here. Only an ankle injury, should be fine. Yep, that is the sound of it. I am really, really excited about that, honestly, given all the worriness that we all had, especially for those that have drafted him. Quite honestly, just forget about best ball for a second, right? For redraft leagues as well. That must have been tough if you did a draft last night and you drafted Ashton Genty in the first round. Would have been awful, awful feeling. All right, Carnell Tate was someone I was intrigued by getting, and we get him here. I think I'm going to just take the wide receiver on the board versus getting one of these quarterbacks just yet. And there's more conversations to be had. One, Ramondre Stevenson was a little bit, read a little bit about his information today. So we'll make sure to get to that as well. But before we go any further, if you guys are jumping on for the very first time here, welcome on in. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button. We are here. We're going to continue to draft until the NFL officially kicks us off that Wednesday night in a few weeks, which I'm really excited about. And we're going to be drafting some more best ball teams, and like days like today, right, we get news like Ashton Genty, and that was something I wanted to jump on in and hopefully see if there was a bigger fall. Like I said, I was reading online and seeing folks getting him in the 9th, heck, even in the 11th or 12th round, which is absolutely insane. So I can't imagine those combinations that you were grabbing when you got Genty that far out. So we'll see how that pans out. Veteran Sunnit says, can you rate my team Superflex? Man, absolutely. If you stick around for a little bit here, I'll make sure to take a look at that. We are currently in the middle of a draft, but I would love to take a look. And then I got Bobby in here as well, asking some redraft questions, which I am absolutely open to doing. This is that time of the year, so I'm excited for that. So if you stick around, Bobby, I'll be more than happy to answer that question. We're going to go through this best ball team here and see how things pan out for us. Let me go ahead and open up the board here so you guys can see what happens. We got a few quarterbacks taken off the board there. Ramondre Stevenson was a guy I said I wanted to mention about. There was a lot of conversation about the 50-50 stuff with quite possibly Travion Henderson. And I'll be honest, man, I wasn't really leaning that there was going to be a 50-50. I expected Ramondre Stevenson to be the starter, at least to start the year. More of a 70-30, I thought, maybe at most 60-40. So I'm not too sure where the 50-50 stuff was really coming out from. But anywho, one of the beat reporters out of New England kind of just mentioned that he fully expects Ramondre Stevenson to have a heavier workload to start the season. So a lot of the reasons why folks are drafting Travion Henderson, myself included, I've drafted some Travion. I'm betting on that talent alone. Is simply, I believe that throughout the season, we'll start seeing his role expand more and get more opportunity. But for sure, the way Ramondre played last season, he's been given the green light, and he's been the main guy. One of his biggest issues, if you've been following fantasy football and just the NFL in general, has been fumbles. So if you were to fumble again, how much before Mike Vrabel just pulls back and said, all right, let's get the young buck in there and have him run out. We got No Limit Soto back in the chat. Welcome back, man. Good to have you as always. We have Money Anything says, in my garbage BBM team today, I did the Adonai Mitchell Geno thing. Needed to get more Geno. Jets passing offense looks like it could be legit. Yes, sir. And you know where I stand with that. I have been all in on that. And we saw how we pushed Geno Smith last night, and that worked out for us. And just like that, what worked out for us here is that we got Dak Prescott along with our Javonte Williams and CeeDee Lamb stack. So the vibes are high. Things are going well so far. Let's see what else falls our way. Let me pull up here another screen here to help us out with some more details. But yes, if you are jumping in the chat right now or just jumping on the stream, welcome on in. We are getting some good news on Ashton Jeanty so far. And by good news, it's better than what we heard earlier today when everyone was absolutely going wild, because myself included, because we thought that we were going to lose him for the rest of the season. But thankfully, that is not the case. Things are looking at least better for the Ashton Jeanty case. And things should be rolling and moving. The real question is, how long will he be out for? And that is to be seen. All right, we got 133. We are back up on the board here. Jordan Tyson's another one I'm willing to see how far he gets pushed out for. Alec Pierce, Stephon Diggs. I do take a lot of Stephon Diggs here. I do like that. I think Rico Dowdle, you know what? Let's go running back here, because I think if we build this room this way, we got 2 bye week 14s. We can kind of stick with we can even stick with the 4 running back build here, even with the 2 bye week 14 guys here. So we'll see how that plays out. Maybe the 4 or 5 running back room. We'll play it out, but I want to start focusing in on some of the other positions, including the wide receiver position. So we'll see how that pans out for us. Let me go ahead and take this out. Pull up the board here for y'all. And again, like I said, welcome to everyone just joining us for the very first time. Good to have y'all. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button. The vibes are high. We are doing we're just having a good time here. This is our first BBM of the night. We will be doing a second one shortly after that. And if there's any more after that, we'll be very dependent on how many likes we have on this stream. Just showing support for sure to see if we'll keep us on here a little bit longer. We're trying to finish out here. We're rounding up at 75 UD BBM drafts currently. And then I think this week I'm going to do a little bit more of a focus on the other site. So stay tuned for that. And then we're waiting to hear back from a few other people to have us join. And like I said, if you guys are joining us for the first time, check out the other streams that we have on the channel. After this stream, of course, we had some really great guests on this past week. We had JSU from Run Pure Sports on Monday. We had Felix Castro, former DK Millie winner for best ball. He was on with us on Tuesday night. And then on Thursday, we had the great Zane Danani, who I'm sure you guys have been following all day today. He's been giving us a really great insight, keeping us up to date with all the latest information. And one of those latest information, we got George Kittle news today. We got Christian McCaffrey news today. Both were spotted back at practice. And the positive vibes and news around George Kittle right now sounds like he could very well be playing week 1. Then the Christian McCaffrey thing is, the reports were Christian McCaffrey said, and I'm paraphrasing here and I'll get the exact quote, but basically he was stating that he expected to be out at least a week to kind of take a break during training camp. But we were getting reports that he was dealing with tightness, which they're saying was true at the same time. So anywho, looked good to see him back on the field. So that's something we don't have to worry about. I still think it's not a bad idea to draft some of those RB2s on that team, one being Kaelon Black. Jordan James is also back. So that's someone else there. So we are coming up here. Pick 105. I'm not good with taking Jordan Tyson here just yet, but I do want to look at the quarterback position here. And I'm not loving anything. I think Casey Concepcion is where I want to go. And yeah, just giving the guys here, if there was any stacks. I do like Brock Purdy a lot here too. Would have been great if we had Dejon Stribling, who is flying off the board. Money in a thing says teams are just overly cautious. I wasn't too concerned about CMC. Agree. Same here, man. I wasn't too concerned about him. But of course, anytime you hear the word tightness alongside guys like Saquon, guys like CMC, I think it does open up some conversation for sure. So something to absolutely always keep an eye out, peel for. But no, I was still drafting him in the first round with hopes that we weren't going to get any bad news. And speaking of bad news, earlier today we heard about Ashton Genty. Things are looking good at the very least right now. The only thing we're waiting to see is how long will he be out for. The report right now, if you're just joining us on this stream, is that he has a sprained ankle. So far, no timeline, but he will not be missing the rest of the season, which is really good to hear. All right, y'all. What are we thinking here? I think we should go quarterback. I think we can go many different routes. Let's go. I think I'm going to go Jackson Dart. Here. Kind of stick with that the NFC East division here. I do like Brock Purdy there. Starting to think a little bit more about backstacking someone like Brock Purdy. I think there's still some other guys you can kind of go with when it comes to Jackson Dart. And then George Kittle obviously gets taken off the board there. So yeah, Dejon Stribling was a big one that you were able to stack with him earlier this summer. Not anymore. Stribling is flying off the board, and I'll show you here as I pull up the board for you guys. Look at that pick, number 100, now going in the 9th round. The next guy I'm really intrigued to see is Mike Washington Jr. How soon before we start making a decision on him? I felt after this past preseason game we just saw him play, he was going in the 15th, 14th round. So maybe we can kind of see, if he's not taken yet, where we can grab him, maybe in the 13th, 14th round. Also saw someone, GameStack Arizona, Las Vegas, through Brissett. Which is something I know you've been doing, man. We got Jeremiah Love, the Carson Beck, the who else? Have you been more of a Michael Wilson or Marvin Harrison Jr. kind of selection there? Because I feel there are two sides to that conversation. I feel like Michael Wilson over on the other side, which is laid out more for PPR scoring, seems better off for Michael Wilson. And then I think Marv Harrison is a better click over here, but just in a vacuum, selecting one of the other guys, my lean has been Marv. So truly, when it comes down to those type of scenarios, those type of wide receiver rooms, you know, you kind of play into a little bit of the scoring styles that you're playing in. And then, of course, the talent, I think, is the other deal breaker there. But we got a new offense there. So it's Mike LaFleur's offense versus Drew Petzing, who was the guy last season. And we saw how big of a year Trey McBride had once Jacoby Brissett came into play at quarterback versus when Kyler Murray was out there. So we've seen things look a lot differently depending and based off the quarterback that is starting. So in this case right now, we do believe Jacoby Brissett will be the starter, and Carson Beck at some point in the season will 100% be playing. The question is when. There goes Jordan Tyson, pick 126. I won't lie. If he would have been right here, I would have selected him. I think right now my feel is round 11 and on is when I would click the Jordan Tyson name. Did not get fortunate there to get him, but we'll see what comes up here. We got quarterbacks falling a little bit here, but I think the route we should be taking could be tight end. We do have, let's see if we can get Isaiah Likely on the back end. I think the route here, I do like Shaheed a little bit more than Debo. Debo Samuel to me feels more of a guy that I'll be playing in DFS week 1 and 2 of the regular season. I think he's going to be really great for them the first couple weeks. But I think right now, from everything we're hearing, is that DeJon Stribling really has a strong role. And obviously, Mike Evans being added on to the team. Mike Evans should have a strong role. And then George Kittle, once he's on the field, you know what I mean? There's still going to be ways there where I just don't know if I'm madly in love with Debo. I think before the selection between Debo and DeJon Stribling was just making a point there that maybe the rookie won't be as ready. But everything we're hearing currently out of camp right now sounds the opposite here. All right, I'll be honest. We could do a true stack here with Jake Ferguson, but I kind of like Dallas Goedert here. If Dallas Goedert is still on the board, he intrigues me, but he's not on the board. And I'll be honest, here's another guy that we need to have a little bit more of a conversation, and it is Woody Marks. So we're going to go ahead and take Woody Marks here. And the conversation with Woody Marks, we talked about a lot of news that came out today. We just talked about the Ramondre Stevenson thing. We talked about the CMC, George Kittle being spotted in practice. And again, if you're just joining us for the very first time, we're getting good news on Ashton Genty. And that is, as of now, it's not a long-term injury. So that is already great news. But the Woody Marks news today, and let me get you guys quotes. I'm not going to be here paraphrasing all day for you guys. I know you guys want the legitimate stuff. Let me get that for you. Woody Marks, the news today is that the expectation is there's going to be more of a split between David Montgomery and Woody Marks, and it might not be 50-50, but it will be close. So that's something to really consider. David Montgomery and Woody Marks have been used nearly evenly throughout camp. The Marks tape and the coach peak is all positive. This could also be managing Monty's workload in practice, but at the very least, Woody has stepped up. And everything that we've been hearing about Woody Marks has also been in part to the expanding of the route tree that they said that they were going to do. And if you watch Woody Marks in college, he played at USC, and that was some of his strengths, his pass catching ability. So we already know that they will probably lean in more on him than they do with David Montgomery when it comes to that passing down work. So very interesting. Preseason games, training camp, but more importantly, the preseason games we've been watching, he looks good, man. He's looked pretty good. And where we're drafting him now, I did select them here in the 12th round, but we were getting him later, and where David Montgomery has gone as well is also another conversation. So this is simply the cost, and that's where the real conversation is lying here, where we're grabbing Woody Marks and how important he can be for this like running back room when you're doing a roster construction here. And for this team that we've built so far, I'm going to run away from the running back room, no pun intended, and start hopping on and getting some more wide receivers and tight ends. At quarterback, we have Dak Prescott and Jackson Dart. Look at the fall on Jake Ferguson here. Let's take a look what wide receivers are on the board, even tight ends, before things start getting a little bit off. I am not ready to draft Tyrone Tracy until we see him on another team. Not intrigued by that at all, to be quite honest. The wide receivers here, the one who has a very solid role, look at that, Trey Tucker is also in a good spot based on everything we were hearing today. He's been someone that seems to have a strong grip on that wide receiver 1 spot. And that, I believe, was something we, for the most part, believed in. Brock Bowers, obviously, is the number 1 option on that team. So we get a little bit of a drop for Chig Okonkwo. We could consider him here. Let's see. All teams have tight ends. I think we could push one of these tight ends here. Let's go Trey Tucker, Jacoby Lane. Let's add some Trey Tucker. Let's get some more Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker is perfect for best ball, y'all. Because Trey Tucker, he had like a 44, right? 44, 46 fantasy point outing last season. He just fits this right here. Don't have to worry about starting him on a week-to-week basis. But when he gives you those massive weeks, it's going to look really, really solid. Right now, I'm at a 26% Woody Marks. I've been on him all BBM cycle. Nice. I have a few Woody Marks teams in the 150 as my RB5. Feels great. Yeah, I'll be honest, man. I was drafting Woody Marks, but it wasn't my favorite click at that time. I just felt the David Montgomery news was big, you know, and it still is big, to be quite honest. But now that we're hearing that Woody Marks' role seems still pretty positive and healthy going into this season, where we're drafting and feels like there's still some meat on that bone. All right, we got some decent tight ends here that I really like. I'm intrigued by Dalton Schultz here. Let's go Brenton Strange. And then we'll see how we can move things here. We also have Dallas Cowboys. So we got the Rams, we have the Jaguars, and then we have the Giants. So getting the Jaguars fit perfectly if we are trying to play out some week 15, 16, 17 playoff correlations. Right now, a little recap. We got a 2-5-6-1 build. We got Dak Prescott, Jackson Dart. We got Devon Achane, Jeremiah Love, Javonte Williams, Rico Dowdle, Woody Marks. At wide receiver, we got CeeDee Lamb, Rome Odunze, Carnell Tate, Casey Concepcion, Rashid Shaheed, and Trey Tucker. And then at tight end, we added Brenton Strange. Off to a solid start here. Thank you so much for those who have joined us so far. Make sure to hit that like button, support the channel by subscribing to the channel, and hit that notification button as well so you guys can stay locked in. We are drafting every single night until the NFL kicks off. 31 days of best ball, day 16 here with you guys. We are drafting our first best ball mania of the night. We're going to be drafting another one here shortly. So if you guys want to join and hang out with us and draft, feel free to stick around. I'll let you guys know once we hit enter, and you guys can try to jump into the same draft lobby as us. All right, we got John in the chat. What's up, John? Welcome back to the stream. Strange tight end pick. I see what you did there. Brenton Strange signed an extension this offseason. He is the tight end 1 for that team. Started to look really good, especially throughout the season, but that second half started looking strong. And then just overall, we're trying to figure out who these wide receivers, what role is which. Parker Washington versus Brian Thomas. It sounds like Parker Washington is truly the wide receiver 1. Then you got Brian Thomas Jr., who's going to still play a part, but Brenton Strange is also going to be an important piece to the puzzle, especially in a Liam Cohen offense, which we are all excited to see. We saw how good the Jaguars looked last season and going as far as they went in the playoffs. So Brenton Strange seems solid here, and we'll see how things all played out. We did mention the running back, Mike Washington Jr., right? I felt that he was someone who was getting selected just around here, especially given this last preseason game. Quite honestly, look at Kaelon Black flying off the boards. Quite honestly, I think we should still be in discussion with where we select him. Did he go already? I missed it then. I did miss that. That's on me. Where did Mike Washington Jr. go? I absolutely missed it. There he go. He went round 11. So, yeah, pick 122. Don't be surprised. That's probably right around where we're going to start seeing him, even after the positive news that we're now getting of Ashton Genty, who they're saying has a sprained ankle. And I am assuming, if not tomorrow, in the next couple of days, we will be hearing at least the timeline of what we're expecting. And then right now we're currently, 3 full weeks before the regular season officially starts for them as one of the teams. All right, we got a 2-5-6-1 build. This is a guy I'm drafting just about every draft, y'all. I do like AJ Barner a ton. We're going to add AJ Barner to this tight end room. At wide receiver, things are getting a little bit tough here. There are some guys we can lean in on here. We are in round 16. This next pick we're about to make. So there are some routes that we can go. I feel good with the running back room. We can maybe go an additional quarterback here. Honestly, with the way Jackson Dart plays, I'd rather feel a little bit safer adding one more quarterback to this room. But I still like him for fantasy purposes. And there was a bit of a fall there for him, which made all the sense in the world. There's still ways to stack Jackson Dart. There's guys like Theo Johnson who you could get late in draft. Fernando Mendoza gets taken off the board there. Let's see. I think we could still get, who else is out there? Tight ends. There's still some options. And then, see, I'm not into the Devon Vele stuff right there. We got Rico Dotto. I'm not into, let's see. Let's take Zachariah Branch. I think this is a good spot for Branch. We can add Branch to this team. Welcome on in. All right, we got Zachariah Branch, who made a little bit of there. I see you drafted Jackson Dart. Did you lose a bet? Nah, man. I don't mind drafting Jackson Dart at all. He's not someone I'm prioritizing in drafts, to be honest. But with a bit of a fall here, he's kind of someone you can kind of flow with as far as like an unstacked quarterback, more of like that naked quarterback we say in the DFS streets a lot. I feel like you could do that. Plus this whole NFC East idea that I like to play with, you know, when running a whole division, building these best ball teams. We have that week 17 correlation with Dallas. So if Dak is not the reason why these players are popping off and we get a strong Javonte Williams games and Jackson Dart on the other end is doing his thing, it still plays out for that correlation as well. What's up, Andrew? Welcome back to the stream. He said, I drafted my first home league this year and I have Love, William, Dotto, and Rome. Nice, man. So pretty much what we have built here. Let me pull up the board for you guys so we can take a look at what's going on here. So we got two more picks. Definitely want another tight end. We got Brenton Strange and we got AJ Barner. And then at running back, like I said, I don't feel a need to go there. Wide receiver would be nice. At this point, we're just taking some shots there. I did hear an interview with, was it Drew Rosenhaus? Tyreek Hill's agent, who was on, I believe it was the Pat McAfee show this week. I'm not too sure. But anywho, I heard his interview this week, and they were asking him about Tyreek. I think it was a Pat McAfee show, actually. Anywho, he was talking, they were giving any updates on Tyreek Hill. Seems like he's starting to look pretty decent right now. I know the news that we got over the offseason was the fear of him not being able to put weight on his leg. But it sounds like his expectation is that Tyreek is probably going to join at some point into the season, maybe later on. I still don't think he's a guy I want to draft anymore. I haven't been drafting him now. I was doing a little bit more in the pre-boards, but I'm not interested in drafting Tyreek Hill for best ball, to be honest. I think when Tyreek Hill is going to be useful and available for a team will probably be at the very end of the season, when honestly, for fantasy purposes, won't be much of a need. Now for an NFL team, absolutely, would be great for them, right? But for fantasy purposes, I don't think he's going to do enough, especially in an 18 round, format like this. Maybe on the other side with 20 rounds, you can kind of play with it. But quite honestly, I'm not trying to push that anymore. It was a really bad injury he's coming out of. And the other expectation is his age and coming back from it. How quick is he going to look good in? So I don't know. I'm not entirely there with selecting Tyreek Hill. John says, shh, don't tell people about Hill yet. I mean, you'd be surprised. Tyreek Hill does get drafted a lot in the last round as a guy people are just throwing a dart at. All right, we are coming back here. Look at Oronde Gadsden, just someone who has completely dropped in drafts. Quite honestly, it's just quite amazing, honestly. All right, we are coming up here. We can take one of these quarterbacks here. The Geno versus Aaron Rodgers. I kind of like Geno more than Aaron. The Aaron, though, you can kind of do more things with. Let's see. Jeremy Bernard is still there. I think let's go down that route. Yeah, we're going to go Aaron Rodgers here. We have Rico Dowdle if push came to shove. And then I still want... Yeah, me too. Money ain't a thing, says Rondé. Yeah, man. I've always liked the David Njoku, round 18, and even Charlie Kolar from time to time, knowing how much he's gonna play. Rondé Gatson, where he was getting drafted in like the 13th to 14th round, just not my cup of tea there. Geno Smith gets taken there, man. Geno Smith, we were just talking about him, man. Geno Smith just keeps going low and cheap. All right, Gunnar Helm. Didn't have a really good game today, but I still am a believer in the talent. But the guy I've been taking a lot of, if we get him here, is really Darren Waller. Darren Waller just fits the mold here for these type of formats. Touchdown machine. Look at this. Last year came in towards the middle of the season, right? 34 targets, 24 receptions, but 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns. That's crazy. All right, we are completing this one. Like I said, if you guys are joining us for the very first time, we just did our first BBM of the night. We will be doing a second one. So if you guys want to stick around and join us on this next one here to draft alongside of us, stick around. Please make sure to hit that like button, hit that notification button, and support the channel by hitting the subscribe button as well. We are in 31 days of best balls, day 16. We have been drafting, streaming for 16 days straight. Have a lot of our folks here inside the chat who've been hanging out with us these last 16 days and even throughout the off season while we've been streaming best ball streams all throughout. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Let's see how this draft rounds up and who the Mr. Irrelevant could be relevant pick of the night is. The last couple days we've been seeing a lot of George Halani, and quite honestly, not my preferred pick at all. That is a big no for me with drafting George Halani. I am all in on the Jadarian Price route there and thinking that is going to be his backfield. They are preserving him. They are doing whatever they're doing right now. They're going to be very cautious with him right now, given that he's been a little bit banged up. All right, let me pull this up here to have... He says Geno could legit be one of the best picks of this year. Man, especially where he's going. I agree 100%. If he's going in the 17th and 18th round, which I've been getting him lately, yeah, 100%. Agree with you. So the mystery relevant, could be relevant pick of the night is Nick Singleton out of Penn State. He gets taken with the final pick in this draft. Let's go ahead and recap our team. And then we're going to go ahead and draft again. We've been falling under these type of builds, the 3-5-7-3 builds. So what we have is Dak Prescott, Jackson Dart, Aaron Rodgers. At running back, we got Devon Achane, Jeremiah Love, Javonte Williams, Rico Dowdle, Woody Marks. At wide receiver, we have CeeDee Lamb, Roma Dunze, Carnell Tate, Casey Concepcion, Rashid Shaheed, Trey Tucker, Zachariah Branch. At tight end, we get Brenton Strange, AJ Barner, and Darren Waller. We got some stacks here and stuff, so we'll see how this pans out. All right, y'all. If you guys want to draft alongside of us, we're going to be doing another Best Ball Mania. I'm going to go ahead and select enter here, and off we go. We are waiting for 7 people right now. Now we are waiting for 5. Let me go ahead and refresh this other screen here with the latest exposures, because we're at that point into the season while we're waiting for this draft, and it filled up. All right, nice. If you guys are in this draft, make sure to let me know in the chat. We are drafting from the 7th spot here, and if you guys are just joining us, we got really good news on Ashton Jeanty, and good news compared to what we were hearing earlier on. And the news is that Ashton Jeanty who had to be helped off the practice field, was not able to put weight on that leg, is believed to have sprained his ankle. Sources tell Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. Las Vegas is still unsure on how long he will be out, but it is not considered a long-term injury, and the organization is breathing a sigh of relief. So that's a big deal here. We'll see how far he drops. Obviously, taking in the idea that he could be out for a few weeks, quite possibly the first month or two. So we'll see how that goes. John Gomez says, let's go, I'm in. So he is in the chat right now. I'm sorry, he's in the draft. I see him in the back end there. Nice. And then we are drafting right in that middle spot here. 7th pick. Let's see what happens here. We got good news on Christian McCaffrey. So if he falls to me right there, again, I wasn't too worried. Money and the Thing was talking about that in the chat too, that he wasn't as well. Look at that. Chase at 2, Bijan at 3. Okay, so we get Puka Nacua there. Amon-Ra hops at 5. That's someone I've liked to click at pick number 7 there. So we're going to get one or either. There we go. And Christian McCaffrey and JSN. Let's go ahead and take JSN here. I'm going to pull up the board here for you guys to follow along. Welcome on in if you guys are just joining us for the very first time. We are drafting our second Best Ball Mania team of the night. The vibes are high. We'll see how things look. And if we do another one, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button. We are drafting every single day here. Looking forward to what's to come. Nicholas Singleton thinks you're 11. I appreciate that, Nicholas Singleton. Although I was a Singleton guy while he was at Penn State. And then we saw Katrin Allen have a big year last year. But I've always been a fan of Singleton, man. I'm interested to see how that plays out for him. I doubt it happens this year. I mean, we'll see. I think he's a fine pick for Dynasty Leagues. I was trying to grab him this year in my Dynasty draft. Wasn't able to. But I think he's a solid Dynasty player to draft right now. And maybe next year is probably the bigger year. Unless you see a trade pop off. Don't put that out just yet. You got a new regime over there. You got a new new coaches and Robert Saleh. You got Brian Dable at offensive coordinator. So they might be out on one of these two running backs ahead of them. You know, obviously Nicholas Singleton was the guy they drafted this year. But if they're out on either Tony Pollard or Tyjae Spears, maybe, just maybe, Singleton has a better opportunity this year. So we'll see how that plays out. So we see Genty go and pick number 15. We selected JSN here. I'm going to go ahead. I like to get sometimes our cover boy and our current thumbnail. If you've selected this link, welcome on in. We got Brock Bowers there. Keep the vibes high with the Raiders news that we just got. Got to get a Raiders guy and support that team. We got Trey Tucker this past draft. So I guess we were just making sure we're looking out for the Raiders fans out there. But yes, Brock Bowers, had he not been a tight end, and that position, I should say, isn't tight end for fantasy purposes, he would be a first-round pick. If he was a wide receiver, he would be a first-round pick. First-round pick. Because in most leagues, you're drafting more than one wide receivers. Tight ends is a 1Z position, just like the quarterback. That is quite honestly the only reason why you're getting Brock Bowers in the second round. Because it's a 1Z position. If he had wide receiver next to his name, and I've mentioned this in the stream before, he would 100% be going in the first round. And in this draft, we see Chase Brown and Devon Achane go at the 1-2 turn. That is actually John Gomez, who's in the chat with us right now. So we'll make sure to follow along with this team and recap it at the very end of the draft. So we see Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey, Mr. Old Reliables here. But two of the best in the last couple years. Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry. They are what a great pairing. You get the Neighbors and Pickens combination here if you're doing a week 17 correlation with the Cowboys versus the Giants. You see Olave going to the second round. If you've been joining my stream all summer, you know I'm a big Olave guy. So that doesn't surprise me. I have not been selecting him in the second round. I feel like we've been getting him very, very well in the third round. So very interested to see. And mind you, at this point of the season, y'all, folks who are drafting right now, they're drafting currently with one, they're either drafting because they're new drafters, right? Or two, they're drafting because they're trying to spread out their exposures for their portfolios. So that's something to definitely keep an eye out. You might see players rise and fall just due to that very thing. You're going to see some weird stuff in that one spot. In these last 16 days we've been drafting, I remember one night we saw Jonathan Taylor get taken #1 overall, and I really wished I had that second overall pick that night. All right, we get a Rasheed Wallace here. Rasheed Wallace. I'm thinking basketball here. Rasheed Rice. Actually, I'm going to go Breece Hall. Let's get a running back here, but we get a falling Rasheed Rice, not a Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed Wallace. What a name to pull there. Former Portland Trailblazer, former Detroit Pistons, Rasheed Wallace. Got NBA coming up soon. Haven't been locked in with NBA like I am locked in with the NFL. All right, we are in the middle, so let's go ahead and pull up the board here. And I'll make sure to do that after every single pick we do. What a nice little combo here to get Omarion Hampton and Ladd McConkey. If you're really into that Chargers team, which many of us probably are, and thinking that Mike McDaniel's offense is going to keep that team relevant, they did lose their center this week, which was awful. They just picked him up. Tyler, I always have a problem pronouncing his last name. I obviously know who the player it is. Biage. I think it's Tyler Biage is how you pronounce it. But anywho, they lost him. He was going to be a great piece and addition to this offense in this Mike McDaniel system. So I was really, really intrigued to see how that all played out. And they lost him. But one thing they did do good during the NFL draft was selecting a center, Jake Slaughter, who I really liked coming out of University of Florida. Their hopes were to have him start at left guard. And now he's just going to have to start at center, which he's going to start this a little bit earlier than expected. But at least they had that on the back end. All right, we see John Gomez take Ted McMillan and Colston Loveland on that turn. So Loveland goes a little bit higher. So we'll see who that means drops here. Wow, we're getting a late Josh Allen. Do we land him here? Because I'm more than happy to take a 4th round Josh Allen. And he does. All right, let's take Josh Allen. I have not drafted a lot of Josh Allen, but I'll gladly take him here in the 4th round. We saw Luther Burden go right before me. I wonder if that drafter knows how much I've clicked Luther Burden in drafts. But Luther Burden goes there. Look at Garrett Wilson. Money ain't a thing. I think we talked about this yesterday as well, right? Garrett Wilson just keeps dropping and dropping, and I'm going to be clicking that name more often in the 4th round if we're going to get that kind of drop on Garrett Wilson, especially with the idea of selecting Geno Smith in the 17th and 18th round, which I quite honestly love right now in best balls. But 4th round Josh Allen, absolutely, I'll click that more often than not. I was looking at my exposure. I do not have much Josh Allen. I do not, and would not mind getting a little bit more of that here. All right, let's see how this turn looks. He says 4th round Josh Allen is an insta click. Should be able to pair him with DJ Moore, hopefully. We'll see, man. I've seen worse things pop off here. Cam Scatterboo gets taken there at pick 48. A guy, actually, so I was realizing yesterday, I was looking at exposure and we were trying to figure out how much of Cam Scatterboo I have. I have 0. At least on BBM. I have him in other little tournaments like the Puppy and maybe the Corgi or something like that. But on Best Ball Mania right now, from what I saw, 0. So either that's going to burn me really bad at the end of the year, or I'm going to dodge a massive bullet here. And based on every noise and drum beat we're getting currently right now, I feel kind of good about that decision. So have not taken Cam Scatterboo again. I like the talent. The talent was fun at Arizona State, but honestly, his style was a little bit worrisome coming into the NFL. And we saw him get a major injury last season, which honestly was very, very unfortunate. But I feel positive without it. And of course, there goes DJ Moore. Of course. But all good here. Excuse me. All right, let's see here. 2 ingots taken off the board. I don't have much Judkins or Irving. You know what? Let's add a little Christian Watson. I do like selecting Matthew Golden. But again, for best ball formats, I do like Watson's upside and what he kind of brings on a week-to-week basis. When he hits, he definitely hits big. So we'll go ahead and select them here, and then we'll see what these 10 picks bring us back there. He says Cam Scatterboo, more like Scatano. Yeah, so I know you're in there. Man, Parker Washington keeps climbing. Yep, that has been the story of the summer, man. Story of the summer. I think for the last, I want to say the last 2 months. I'm probably crazy saying this, but for like the last month and a half at the very least, Parker Washington has been coming in around this 5th round. So if you wanted Parker Washington shares, it's a lot harder to grab that now than it was earlier this summer, back in like May, when he was going in the 7th or 8th round pick. Then when we were arguing if that was still too high for him, I was on that side. I felt that it was still too high for him. And then now with the drum beats and noise coming out of camp, everything just seems to be really, really good. I've avoided Cam like the plague. There you go. So we got a lot of folks here who are anti that pick, which makes me feel better about making that move versus hearing the opposite in the chat right now. But like I said, it's either going to be for good or is it going to be for bad? We shall see. Obviously, with the noise that we're getting currently right now, starting to feel a little bit more positive about it. Honestly, at this point here, I am good with either of these top 2 picks. So whichever route our Mercers go, I'll go the other way there. So open to that. Let's go ahead and take Travion Henderson while by week 11 so far to start. It's going to be fun. So we'll select Travion Henderson there. I did mention Ramondre Stevenson is more set up to be the current starter. So that, again, is still something that I've been playing around with a little bit, because I think that has more to do with obviously the first half of the season. But when you're drafting for Best Ball Mania, the hopes are that your team is doing really, really good. And that your team is doing really, really good by the very end of the season when it all matters. And then your hopes are that someone like Travion Henderson truly takes the next step. And if he does, things can look really, really good and high for that pick, especially where you're drafting him currently right now. All right, we said we were going to keep an eye out for John's team too. So it looks like he got a triple stack here, or double stack, I should say. Caleb Williams, Roman Dunze, and Loveland. So we'll see how that plays out. We got Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow taken here. Caleb taken over Lamar Jackson is the one to stomach. But again, I guess that makes the most sense when you are stacking that team. And when you have Loveland and Roma Dunze, I say go for it at that point. But it's crazy to see where Lamar goes and then where Jalen Hurts goes as well. My guy EG says Henderson. He goes, I got so much of him. So, yeah, so I know your hopes are that Travion Henderson has a monster season. Again, when we talk about the talent out of Ohio State, the kid can play. Really just the burst there. And we saw when he was given the opportunity last year how much he flashed that upside as well. Pass protection has been some a bit of his issue right now at the NFL level. Something he actually did not struggle in college. All right, we are back up on the clock here. I think we should be leaning. Let's go ahead and take some Josh Downs here. Is he? No, not by week 11, so we don't have to go too crazy here. We got Tony Pollard still on the board there. Been kind of toning down Tony Pollard. Promise I didn't do that on purpose. But yes, Tony Pollard has been someone I've been not as aggressive to. A lot to do with just how that offense overall may look when it's all said and done. But if I get a little bit of a fall from a Tony Pollard, which there he goes, he gets taken, I would have absolutely consider him. Yes, toning down for Tony Pollard. I promise it wasn't on purpose. I do not have that scripted whatsoever. Sometimes when you're when you're here just talking for a while, things really just start rambling off. He goes, I think Pass Pro is going to be fine this year. Well, I sure hope so, because that's something he was really known for in college. So has to be better at the NFL level, especially for a team like that. with someone like Josh McDaniels as the offensive play caller. He's got to sharpen that up. He's got to sharpen that up for sure. All right. We got Josh Allen, Breece Hall, Travion Henderson, JSN, Christian Watson, Josh Downs, and Brock Bowers. We see Josh. We get Justin Herbert taken off the board there. I think the route we should go here is, we shall see if we get Rico Dowdle. If not, wide receiver, we could pivot there as well. Let's take Rico Dowdle here. Let's add to this running back room. And we got a 1-3-3-1 build, so feeling a little bit balanced here. So things are flowing, looking good. Let's pull up the board here. We see our guy Blake Corum just flying up the board. Another our guy, Jonathan Brooks. The good old days of selecting Jonathan Brooks late. Like you were getting him here in the 13th round, Jonathan Brooks. When everyone was saying he'll just be a matter of time before he gets hurt. Practice and overall, which is honestly just, that's how fantasy football fans are typically, right? Predicting the absolute worst and making their points why they don't like drafting a player. But I wanted Jonathan Brooks to be healthy so bad, and so far we're getting a healthy Jonathan Brooks. Loved him at University of Texas. And very unfortunate when he went down with that injury prior to his rookie season. And then obviously the injury that he went down with at the NFL level. So really, really excited for him. Second round draft pick for the Carolina Panthers. So there is a plan 100% in place for him. And everything sounds like he's going to be the guy as long as he stays available. Readily available. He'll be the guy. And I think he's going to take on a major part of that running back room as well. Chuba Hubbard's been playing well for them, but overall, I just still think they want Brooks to be their guy. So we see Stribling moving on up. 9th round pick, Stribling. We get George Kittle taken off the board there as well. So let's see, Jordan Mason has been flying off the boards as well. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. So quite honestly, the running backs are now just, they're flying. All right, we're about to come up here. There's a nice little drop on Trevor Lawrence here, and there he goes. He gets taken. We are in position here. Let's see. I am not ready to click Tyson. Maybe we go Xavier Worthy here. Kind of back and forth on Worthy. Let's go ahead and take him here. Xavier Worthy alongside, we got a lot of these spike type of wide receiver. Passing on Brooks too. Yeah, just right now with the price going so high, I'll still select them depending on how my roster construction looks. Money in a Thing says, what do myself and Jacoby Brissett have in common? We both will be inactive by week 17. 100%. I really do agree with that. Unless by some miraculous thing that they're actually in position to play for something. Or obviously Carson Beck is hurt or something like that. But I do expect Carson Beck to start for sure, at least in the second half of the season. Who knows, even earlier, depending on what happens. Brissett, they paid him. They gave him his money for this year. But here's the thing. They drafted Carson Beck with a 3rd round pick. I am not a Carson Beck guy necessarily, but I do believe they're going to start him. They want to see what they have in him. They drafted him with high draft capital. And the other expectation is if they are going to be a bad team, they're trying to see if Carson Beck is even worth considering to move forward with before drafting one of the big quarterbacks coming off the draft next season. All right, we are back up on the board here. I say we take Kyle Monangai. And because Casey Concepcion just went off the board, would have been someone I consider here. And he got taken a little bit before that. So we get Kyle Monangai off the board. Where did KC go? On the back end. So he went to John Gomez here. And he takes Romeo Doubs. Okay. So he's got a 1-2-6-1 build. We got Jacoby Myers with the Trevor Lawrence and Tootin. They got a nice little fall on Trevor Lawrence here. But again, this running back stuff is literally, it is moving now, y'all. And this is one of the things and one of the reasons why I like drafting at this point of the season as well, because you kind of see how things start shaping up. And a lot of us who draft early, we were drafting back in January, pre-board best ball drafts, and you were able to get so much value at the running back position. And now it's like, as we're starting to hear more and more the noise behind the rows and how much of them are going to play what, people are just like, hey, I'd rather get those guys early on, and the ones with the bigger question marks kind of just leave on the board and let others take shots on. But again, this isn't redraft league, so we don't have to worry too much about that starter aspect of it. This is best ball, so we are still taking running backs with a lot of talent on the back end. One of them in consideration here, not at this pick necessarily, which would be Mike Washington Jr. So we'll see how much higher he goes on. I think he went in the 11th round last draft that we just did here. Can't really remember, but I'm almost sure that's where he ended up. All right, we got a 1-4-4-1 build. We got Kevin in the chat as well. He said, would you trade Pickens and James Cook for Chase and Genty? I get Chase and Genty. Yeah. Even with the Genty news, because overall, if you have a solid team, obviously, Kevin, I don't know how your team is built, but if you have a good enough team to hold you at least for maybe the couple weeks that Genty will be out for, yeah, you go down that route, in my personal opinion. I like that move. All right, we are back up on the board. Let's see who we go with here. I think options. We are going to go. I'm gonna take our guy Jalen Coker. Welcome to the team. And of course, the tight ends that are still on the board, one of them not being Dalton Kincaid, because when they see a drafter there who has Josh Allen, they said, why not? Let's select them before the Josh Allen guy takes them. There are still other options we can go when it comes to him. I am not a big Khalil Shakir guy, but if he happens to fall where I'm at, perfectly fine. There we go. Yeah, that is interesting, John. Taking Woody Marks and Mike Washington here at pick 132 and 33. Seems a bit high for me, but I get it. He was falling behind in the running back room. But yes, Woody Marks, Mike Washington gets taken there. Khalil Shakir gets taken off the board there as well. Let's see who we have left here. We are rolling. We got Brock Bowers at tight end, so things feel solid there. There are other routes we can go. Boston comes off the board. We got 5, 11, 13, 2 5s. And Shaheed gets taken off the board. Man, Mark Andrews just keeps falling because of the noise we are hearing on him. Let's go ahead. We're going to take a quarterback here. I'm going to go ahead and take Daniel Jones. I know I have JSN, but I want to take someone opposite of like what Josh Allen does, in terms of that rushing upside and production. Our fingers are crossed that Daniel Jones is healthy and good to go through the season, of course. But if he is, this kind of makes me feel a little more comfortable with a 2 quarterback room. Obviously, the Daniel Jones factor can make you a little bit nervous, but everything we're hearing right now coming out of camp is that he looks good. The ones that have a little more concern too is a lot to do with, what's his name? Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce, nothing good or positive really truly coming out of camp. There goes Mark Andrews taken off the board there, pick number 141. Let me pull up the board here. I take Chase Genty for Cook and Pickens. Okay, yeah, so basically the same thing I said. Yeah, that seems really good. Maybe a bit of an overreaction to just the Genty news now that we got it. So I would probably hit enter on that as soon as possible. If that is for, obviously your redraft team. Not sure what kind of fantasy league that is, but either way, that's still a solid trade in my opinion. And again, if you guys are just joining us for the very first time, welcome on in. We are drafting our second Best Ball Mania team of the night. Having a good time. The vibes are high. We got good news on Ashton Genty, who we were all a little worried about. I'll make sure to bring that up shortly here. There goes Terrence Ferguson, who just flies off this board here. One of my favorite picks earlier on when we were getting him in the 17th and 18th round. It was just, those good days are absolutely gone. Gone with the wind. All right, we are coming up here. I was going to say there's a bit of a drop with Sam Darnold that I can consider here, possibly. I also like the running backs up on the board. And we can also consider, let's see, a 2-4-5-1 build. I see with Josh Allen, I don't feel the need to force a quarterback 3 here. Let's go ahead and take our guy, Tank Bigsby here, and then we'll make some decisions here. I don't feel the need to force it. If Darnold somehow magically makes it to me on the back end, then cool. If not, I'm okay with that. Hey, Felix Reyes, can you talk more about your strategy regarding those matchups later in the season? Yeah, no, I was just talking about, so, you got the playoff correlated weeks, right? The weeks 15, 16, and 17, which are the matchups with those teams. So if your team advances, those are the teams, you want to consider getting to that point. Yeah, I think it's regarding the playoff weeks. Yeah. So, for instance, if you are drafting Buffalo, right? Buffalo plays Miami week 17. So getting a piece from that Miami team would be nice later on. Even going deep with some of those young wide receivers like a Chris Bell or even a Kevin Coleman Jr. I've mentioned in the past. Caleb Douglas should still be playing a significant role. The one guy I'm a little more concerned about that may not be playing by week 17 is probably Malik Washington. And that's just because I think Miami's just going to be a pretty bad team overall. So I just don't see this thing where you're going to see him out there more. They're going to probably play a lot of the young guys. All right. Jacoby Lane comes off the board here. We have some options left on the board that I would highly consider here. Excuse me. All right, we get Jalen McMillan. Some call him Jalen McMillian. So that's what we're hoping he can get us. Yeah, hopefully I answered your question, EG. Appreciate you here. And if you guys are just joining us for the very first time, please like the video and support the channel by subscribing to it. Hit that notification. We got some fun things planned for you guys here. We had some amazing guests this past week. Let me pull up the board here for you guys. We had JSU from Run Pure Sports. We had Felix Castro, former DK Millie winner, who was also on our show on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we had Zane Donani, fantasy analyst over there for Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life. So if you guys want to check out those previous streams from this week, we had a really good time, some really good strategy talks, information. Check those streams out after this stream, of course. And then we'll be here, locked in, drafting every single day until the NFL officially kicks off. 31 days of best ball, day 16 out of 31 days. All right, we're seeing a massive wide receiver run. John says, holy tight end run. Yeah, there was a lot of tight ends that went off the board. Some went higher. I call him Jalen McMuffin. Yeah, man. I like Jalen McMillan, man. I like him. As long as he stays healthy. He was one of those guys that I really enjoyed watching out of Washington with Rome Odunze. And then, unfortunately, Jalen Poku just retired out of the NFL. Hope he's well. But those three guys were really fun to watch. Heck, and if you go a little further back, Puka Nacua was on this Washington team as well. Obviously, that's not where he really made a name for himself, but he was there prior. So just some interesting nuggets we like to throw here. Excited for college football to be back up on. There goes our guy, Adonai Mitchell, getting taken. I think at this point, I might just be drafting alongside folks. Look at this, AJ Barner coming off the board. Guys that just honestly weren't getting drafted that high. So there goes my luck with the guys on the board. All right, we get Jawan Jennings still on the board here. Not pushing the tight end route. The running back room. Like me some Jadon Blue. I think we need to add a little bit more wide receivers. Let's get Jawan Jennings here. We'll bring Jawan Jennings to the team. Week 17 correlation to Breece Hall. I think Jawan Jennings fits for sure this underdog scoring setting here, the half PPR. He is a very touchdown dependent kind of guy. Obviously, the biggest thing right now is seeing how Kyler Murray plays. Everything is contingent of Kyler Murray. The biggest question mark on this team falls on that. We know how good their defense is. Although they lost a lot of strong defensive players on that team, they still got Brian Flores calling all the defensive calls, and he's a really good one for sure. The other one is obviously Kevin O'Connell. KOC is one of the best offensive-minded coaches in the league. They got offensive pieces. They got Justin Jefferson. They got Jordan Addison. Now they added Jawan Jennings as wide receiver 3. They even have Ty Felton, who's been doing really good in camp as well. And then the running back room is kind of the one also with a bit of a question mark, but Jordan Mason seems to be doing fine right now, seems to be taking the lead in that room right now. Aaron Jones has a role carved out for him, and then Damon Claiborne is one of the rookies coming out of Wake Forest that I'm really excited to see play at some point, and I still think he will. I don't know how long before this running back room even like holds. Haronde Gatson going around 16 when we've been firmly seeing him drop a ton. Is underdog half PPR? Yes. Underdog is half PPR, and then DraftKings is full PPR. And like I said, we'll probably be hitting those streets tomorrow and moving forward. Let's go ahead and add Fernando Mendoza to the team. Yep, just what I said, money, I think. Yep, and underdog is half PPR. DraftKings is full PPR. So yes, very different scoring format. We're going to add Fernando Mendoza here in round 16. I don't think he makes it any further. We have Rico Dotto. Fits perfectly here. No problem, EG. No problem. And then we shall see how these tight ends kind of shape out at the very end here. There are routes we can still go. See Devon Vele. See, Vele, I've been back and forth on this whole Vele stuff, man. I know that Tyson is out for the first 2 months, so I know why Vele is important. But man, I struggle to still draft him over here on underdog. Maybe he is more fitting for his style on a PPR platform. But I just think there's more of a bump towards guys like even Travis Etienne from the pass catching side of things. I just think this is going to be just more volume for Olave, of course. As long as he stays healthy, this is going to be great for him. And then you got Jawan Johnson, who should look good. I mean, they're going to probably run out a lot more 12, 13 personnel. They got young guys like Oscar Delp. They also added Noah Fant. I can't even speak right. Noah Fant onto the team. There goes Greg Dulcich. Round 17. Just like Cam Scatterbull, I've been avoiding DraftKings like to play. Underdog's platform is so much better in my opinion. Yeah, it's a lot to do with the interface. It just looks really, really strong. Really, really good. Trying to avoid Mendoza down the stretch. It's not Mendoza's fault, but the Raiders seem like an absolute impossible situation to be fantasy relevant. See, I disagree there. I think with Click Kubiak, I think things can look really good for him at the very end of the season. And like I've talked about before in the past, even those type of game environment would help and work well for him. All right, we are back up on the board. Round 17 here. Love to grab another wide receiver here. We are looking firmly at the bye weeks here as well. Don't have much Jerry Jeudy. I like me some Jalen Noe. Let's go ahead. Jalen Noe, welcome to the team or not. He is. We got him there just in time. So we're going to take Jalen Noe there. And I think the way we go, we do have one tight end. So we might just go another tight end here. Would have loved, honestly, to add a little bit more to that running back room. But I think overall it should be solid. And we could do some deep scrolls for tight end because I do like the Brock Bowers edition. I don't really select Dawson Knox. I don't know if this is the route I go with a Josh Allen. I don't like clicking that name, honestly, but I've seen crazier things happen, quite honestly. We can't select Michael Mayer. We already have Brock Bowers. This is round 18. Eric All is someone I like clicking. He's someone I absolutely love, as our guy John Gomez here takes Mike Gesicki. Been taking a ton of Eric All over Mike Gesicki. I think Gesicki's just I'm expecting a down year from him. All right, we are we are going to go, we're going to see if we get any of these two guys, obviously. And then the other one is we can use, got Josh Allen, got the Miami factor, but I need a tight end here. Of course, Darren Waller gets taken. I'm cool with Njoku. We got to also take a look at bye weeks, right? So bye week 6 here. Yeah, we're going to go down this route here. Do we just do it with Dawson Knox? I mean, he just runs so pure at the tight end position. All right, let's just do it. I don't have any Dawson Knox. Why not? We didn't get any Kincaid. Let me tell you something. Dawson Knox, though, he's going to start the season and catch like a touchdown or two. I feel like he's always good for that to start the season. We need another tight end, so we went down Dawson Knox route. Never usually click that name, but we had Josh Allen unstacked, and it just made sense at that point. The Texans will have a 225 passing yards per game, and Nico Collins will have 150 of those yards. The wide receiver is bad at the moment. Yes, it is. I do believe in the talent in Jalen Noel, and we're selecting him in the 17th round. How much do you need from a Jalen Noel who has a ton of upside and can easily make it his way up on that list here? So I don't hate the click at all. I think Dalton Schultz is going to play really big here too. But yes, Nico Collins is going to be the one who takes on the most for sure there. All right, we are going to see who the Mr. Irrelevant but could be relevant pick of the night is. Let me take a look at where we are at with the likes. Where are we with the likes? If we're getting some good likes here, we're at 7 likes, y'all. I'm feeling good about that. If you guys want to hit that like button, if you haven't hit it already, show some support to the channel. All right, Jerry Jeudy is the Mr. Irrelevant, could be relevant pick of the night. Wow, that's probably the latest I've seen Jerry Jeudy get taken. I did consider him there here with Jalen Noel. Very, very interesting. Let's go ahead and recap. Jerry Jeudy is irrelevant. Very fitting selection. Yes. All right, 3-5-8-2 build here. At quarterback, we got Josh Allen, Daniel Jones, Fernando Mendoza. At running back, we got Breece Hall, Travion Henderson, Rico Dotto, Kyle Monangai, Tank Bigsby. At wide receiver, we got Jackson Smith-Njigba. We got Christian Watson, Josh Downs, Xavier Worthy, Jalen Coker, Jalen McMillan. A lot of Jalen's here. Jawan Jennings and Jalen No. So we got Jalen Coker, Jalen McMillan, and then Jalen No. And then at tight end, we got Brock Bowers and Dawson Knox. Very interesting selection by me there with Dawson Knox. Would only make that selection ever with a Josh Allen and wanted to do something a bit different. All right, y'all. If you guys are still here, locked in, let's go ahead. I'm feeling the vibes. I'm feeling good. Let's do this is number 75 right here. We're going to get this draft off the way. We're waiting for 3 people. So if you guys want to join us right now, we are drafting our 3rd Best Ball Mania of the night. So if you guys want to join us here, we are drafting Best Ball Mania BBM number 75 here. So why not get this on the stream? Tomorrow we might be switching platforms. So I want to make sure we get this here. We got one more person we're waiting for. And since I'm staying here a little bit longer, look at that. We get the 2 spot. Not bad, not bad. And since we're staying here again, if you guys haven't hit that like button, make sure to hit that like button here. Show some support. Hit that notification button as well. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are on our 3rd Best Ball Mania team of the night. And yeah, the vibes are high. The vibes are high. We are chilling here. We are having a good time here, drafting our 3rd Best Ball Mania team of the night. I snuck in at the 13th spot. Nice, man. Yeah, thanks. All right, John. Try getting different. Was fun, though. Have a good night, y'all. All right, man. Take care, John. Appreciate you hopping on the stream. All right. Do we get Clippy is what I'm assuming the name is. Does Clippy go Bijan Robinson? Does he look for expanding and adding more to his exposure with anybody else? Would love to add some more Jahmyr Gibbs. If not, Bijan is a lock. Bijan is indeed a lock for us. So we select Bijan Robinson here. We are drafting from the 2 spot. If you guys are just joining us for the very first time in the night, welcome on in. We were talking about the Ashton Jeanty news. Let me go ahead and pull up the board for those that are watching. The Ashton Jeanty news is, after everyone was freaking out, myself included, Jeanty is now, we're getting positive reports here from Ian Rappaport. He states Raiders running back Ashton Jeanty, who had to be helped off the practice field today, is believed to have sprained his ankle. Sources tell him and Adam Schefter. Las Vegas still are unsure how long he will be out, but it is not considered a keyword long-term injury, and the organization is breathing a sigh of relief. And so is the fantasy landscape, for real, for real. Great news we are getting out of Ashton Jeanty. The question is how long? We'll see how long he stays on the board. Again, heard so many crazy stories earlier today when folks were getting Ashton Jeanty absolutely insane. We unfortunately did not jump in I literally jumped on 5 minutes after this news broke. So we did not get a chance to see a very fallen Ashton Jeanty. We saw Ashton Jeanty basically get selected before the 15th pick. So that is interesting there. All right, so we got some wide receivers off the board. Everything pretty much looks as normal. Kenneth Walker going there at pick 12, which is interesting, right? Because now I'm thinking, who are the guys that start moving up a little bit over Ashton Jeanty? If you still believe Ashton Jeanty goes in the second round, Kenneth Walker probably takes more of that row now. Chase Brown, Derrick Henry. I haven't seen Derrick Henry, but I would assume Kenneth Walker and Chase Brown being more of those guys there. So you see Saquon falling a bit there. Pick number 15. Been seeing him go a lot more in the first round, usually in that 1-2 turn. Achane goes there. So we're getting a running back run here. I'm drafting Kenneth Walker in the first round now. Yeah, man. I felt like, and there goes Ashton Jeanty, pick number 17. Yeah, man, I've been feeling the Kenneth Walker stuff was really that was always the thing for me. I felt like Kenneth Walker has always been a first round pick. But he is going in the second round, and I get it, especially with the players around him. But I think when it's all said and done at the very end of the year, his ADP will match that of a first round pick, especially him being the guy, the bell cow right now for the Kansas City Chiefs, which I expect them to lean heavily on the run game going into this season. Patrick Mahomes, all the news around Patrick Mahomes is that he looks good. He's ready to go. But I still don't think they put too much on him. All right, we'll see what we get here. I have a feeling they're not going to go Drake London here. And they did. Okay, so I was wrong. Let's go ahead and select Malik Neighbors before coming back around here. Clippy, let's see what Clippy does. We got a Bijan Malik Neighbors start right now. Nothing too rare of a combo here. Olave gets taken. And you guys already know I love clicking Olave around this area too. If I get him here on this back end here. Let's see. Ideally will love me. All right, so Kyron goes there. Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and select George Pickens. And if you want that correlation stuff right there, you got it. Week 17 correlation with Neighbors and Pickens. And then we get Bijan Robinson. All right, so we were talking about Ian Rappaport's news of Ashton Jeanty. One of the other big news is, so right now, so far in 3 drafts, this is our third BBM that we're doing tonight. In 3 drafts, we have not seen much of a shake when it comes to Ashton Jeanty other than a few spots. So I'm pretty sure once we hear the timeline, that's when things are going to shift a little bit differently. Would not surprise me if he goes more into the 3-4 turn, if I'm assuming he might be out. He could be placed on the PUP list, just to give you guys a heads up. If he's placed on the PUP, what is that, 4 weeks is what that expectations are. The only thing is he won't be able to practice within those 4 weeks. So that is still an option that is in place. And if he doesn't, that's also great news, because then that means he might be coming in a little bit sooner. We still have, I believe it's 3 full weeks from here till the first Sunday slate. So there is time for that speedy recovery, hopefully, for Ashton Genty. I'm from the Frisco area, so very familiar with Ashton Genty, who played out here at Lone Star High School, which is really cool. We had Zane Donani on the show on Thursday, so if you guys want to check out that stream, make sure to check it out after we get off of this one. But Zane Donani is actually from the Frisco area, is very well aware of Lone Star, so that's kind of cool. We had some really fun conversations about that, just overall, as far as Ashton Genty, the talent. Really excited for Ashton Genty, man. I'm so glad we didn't get the news that he was going to be out for the entire season. The excitement for Ashton Genty this year were really, really high. I think under Clint Kubiak in this offense, things are going to look really, really good. I really do believe so. We're getting the Josh Allen 4th round selection here, so really interested. Garrett Wilson, both guys keep going back to back from what I remember right now in the previous drafts. So something to obviously consider when you're in the 4th round there. All right, let's see what comes up for us here. We have obviously some options on the board. Not selecting Cam Scatterbo, and there he goes. He gets taken. So that's one player I don't have to worry about here. And then we shall see what's left for us here. One guy I don't select a lot of is honestly David Montgomery. I did earlier on, and Colson Loveland obviously gets taken off the board right before we go. All right, where should we go here? I think we should go. Why not? I don't click a lot of David Montgomery. Let's go ahead and take David Montgomery. I have a ton of Woody Marks. Don't mind the exposure to Montgomery as well here. Again, not someone I take a lot of, but I'm okay getting some exposure to him. I never planned on doing a full fade on David Montgomery like I have kind of done already with Cam Scatterbo. So I don't hate selecting him here. We can use another running back in this room right here. And then we shall see wide receiver wise, Devontae Adams would have been great. Mike Evans and DJ Moore, I usually go back and forth here between these two guys. Let's go ahead and select some more Mike Evans. He was, let's see. Do I want Mike? I'm going to go DJ. Let's take DJ. DJ's role, when thinking of target share, as much as I like Mike Evans' role in this Kyle Shanahan system, the X receiver, I'm interested to see how much they're going to utilize not only DeJon Stribling, but they still got CMC. They still got George Kittle. They still got guys that they depend on in that offense. But the thing with DJ Moore is that he's on a team right now that when you look outside of like James Cook, the other options, DJ Moore is kind of like the third guy there. You know, you got Khalil Shakir, you got Keon Coleman, you got even the young guys, Skylar Bell. Dalton Kincaid is expected, hopefully, to have a much better year this year. We've been waiting for that kind of a role. So we'll see how that looks out. But DJ Moore, given the draft capital traded for him as well. Joe Brady, considering the whole Joe Brady stuff too, right? There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are in play there to make DJ Moore a consideration there, which I felt for a while folks weren't selecting him. Just scrolling on my YouTube while in the draft, and we're in the same draft. Nice, man. Welcome. Where are you drafting from? Oh, you said Nate Man? Nate Man dog. Okay, nice. Actually, just Nate Man. I got you though with the dog there. We'll definitely keep an eye on what you're doing. Looks like you're on the clock here, like your start so far. Nate Man has Justin Jefferson, Chase Brown, Lad McConkey, Emeka Ibuka, and then he's the guy who selects Parker Washington there. Parker Washington, another guy, don't have enough of. And again, he's not one I wanted to completely full fade. He was just one that I was struggling where we were drafting him. And now that we've kind of been hearing everything kind of confirming why he's getting selected where he's getting selected, still been really hard for me to land him. It seems like every time I was about to make the click, he gets taken right before he does. And Nate Man, who's in the chat currently right now, welcome Nate Man. Appreciate you jumping on the stream. Take some there at pick number 59. If you guys are just joining us for the very first time, welcome on in. We are doing our third Best Ball Mania team of the night. We are currently, this is actually the 75th team. Wanted to make sure I got this team on the stream. And yes, so we are in the 75th BBM team. Excited about doing that and being on the stream with you guys. So if it's your first time here, welcome on in. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button. We are drafting every single day here till the NFL kicks off. 31 days of best ball. We are on day 16 right now. We are drafting from the 2 spot, and we got Bijan Robinson, Malik Neighbors, George Pickens, David Montgomery, and DJ Moore. So let's see how the board is shaping up here for us. Can go a few different routes here. Jonathan Brooks gets taken off the board there. This is right around the area, I would say. 6th, 7th round is kind of like where he's been taken more often. See Joe Burrow come off the board. I'm going to go ahead and take Marvin Harrison here. I like Marvin Harrison right here. This is perfect for me. Add to the wide receiver room. We got a 2-4 build to kick us off here. We could consider some quarterbacks that are on the board. Let's see which route Clippy goes with. And then he takes Jaden Daniels there. I don't have, we can't. Yeah, see, I was going to consider Jalen Hurts, but we might just go Dak here. Interesting. Mekhi Lemon and Jaden Daniels versus just getting Jalen Hurts. All right, cool. All right, so we got Jalen Warren still on the board here. We could go running back. Let's go ahead and take Dak. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take Dak Prescott here. We're going to get our quarterback. Make sure we secure the quarterback. And with us right now, we got Dak Prescott, Bijan Robinson, David Montgomery. At wide receiver, we got Malik Neighbors, George Pickens to stack alongside Dak. And then we got DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison. If you're just joining the stream right now for the very first time, welcome on in. And if you guys have been here before, you guys know my takes on the Dallas Cowboys has nothing to do with me being in the Texas area. But just overall, I really am a believer in this Brian Schottenheimer offense. I like their offensive line. And I really do think that this Dallas team is going to look a lot better this year. They need a better defense. They invested a ton getting Overshawn back, adding Quentin Williams last year. Caleb Downs, getting Caleb Downs in the NFL draft was phenomenal. I think he's such a great addition to this team. And then now they have Christian Parker as the defensive coordinator, someone who's been working alongside one of the great minds on the defensive end in Vic Fangio. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this pans out for them. And if their defense is just evenly middle of the pack, they should do well, especially given how much they're going to lean in on this offense. But yes, healthy team here. Dak Prescott, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb. I think they could do a lot of damage. I'm also a big Ryan Flournoy guy. Been drafting a ton of them. So not just saying a ton just to say a ton anymore. Let's check out my exposure on Ryan Flournoy. I'm at 17%. Been selecting a lot of Ryan Flournoy, not just attached to Dak Prescott, but just overall, I really do believe Ryan Flournoy is a really solid wide receiver 3 in this league. And then we saw last season when CeeDee Lamb went down, how much Ryan Flournoy really stepped up and did well for this team. So that's just something to consider there. I do like this offense. I think that this is the team that wins the division when it's all said and done as well. So we could very well be seeing the Dallas Cowboys back in the playoffs. That is my expectation from them, especially when you're drafting best ball, right? Best ball drafts, I feel like you should be considering the offenses that you are the highest on. So your exposures are usually right around that area. So I'm big on the Bears. I'm big on the Cowboys. I'm big on the Lions, the Chargers. Some of the few teams that I can just mention right now from the top of my head that I do draft a ton of based on where I think those offenses end up. I do like the Jaguars too. Again, they haven't been able to click Parker Washington as much as I would love to, but yes. The Eagles look like they have the making of a sinking ship trying to be underweight Eagles. Yes, man. I agree. I do agree. Some of the selections I make on the Eagles, like I've been telling y'all, Tank Bigsby, I feel is like just very underpriced. And that has a lot to do with as an RB2 role on a team that I feel are going to be probably not as much on. Hold on, give me 1 second here. Let's take Stephon Diggs here. Out of the guys on the board. Yeah, let's go Stephon Diggs. And maybe consider Stribling here. I know we got 2 running backs, so we can kind of flip things differently. Let's see how Clippy goes. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt is usually another route. I just don't have a lot of Stribling, man. Would like to add more Stribling to this team, to my teams. Let me take that back. I do have Stribling, and I got him really later on. But man, I just feel that this team, instead of just going for like one of those guys, let's just take Krosky Merritt here. Pick number 98. We need to add some more running backs to this room, in my opinion. So we'll see how this looks. But yeah, Stribling would have been fine there. He's definitely not going to make it 20 picks past, so he's going to be gone. But I think Stribling has been going right around here. I could have made that decision between him or Diggs, but I took Diggs because I still think Diggs has a very solid role going to Washington right now. Like it. So I took 2 Washington guys. That's an offense. Has a big question mark. Losing Laramie Tunsil was massive for them. But I'm really intrigued to see how things look. David Blau, the new offensive coordinator there, is going to be running a lot of the Ben Johnson offense. So offense I'm very familiar in as far as a Bears fan. So we know for fantasy purposes, it can do really, really well for. All right, we get Tyson at pick 102 there. I like Tank Bisbee. I also like Dontavian Wicks. That's about it. Man, I like Dontavian Wicks when we were getting him so late. I clicked so much Dontavian Wicks in the last couple of years. He was just a guy. I know I'm not alone on that. He was a guy that was so easy. Man, he was just like one of my favorites round 17 and 18 picks in the last couple of years. One of those guys we would constantly say, like, dude, he does it all. The only thing he needs to do is work on catching the football. Once he figures that out, we are like, oh, yeah, he's going to be great. He's going to be great. And now where we're selecting Dontavian Wicks, the expectations are, right, that he's going to be that guy. And he's going in an offense with Sean Mannion, right? An offense that Sean Mannion was with the Green Bay Packers. So when connecting dots, a offense that Dontavian Wicks has been a part of. So this is why they are and have relied heavily on him. And Dontavian Wicks right now, given Mekhi Lemon just got back, just started practicing again, a rookie. Devontae Smith, they've been very cautious with him too. So he hasn't been practicing all offseason as well. He is practicing now, but prior to that wasn't practicing as much. So Dontavian Wicks really has a clear runway to be that guy early and often. The question is, how much do you rely on Jalen Hurts? Learning another offense. Obviously, he's done well in some of these offenses that he's walked right into. But I'm curious how much of a challenge this could be early on. I think they're going to be leaning heavily on the run game, and obviously depending on that defense that they have, a really solid defense. They have already a great offensive line, so why not lean more on the run game, especially given this new offense that they're bringing in will be very run dependent. So in which why I like Tank a lot there. I feel like that's going to help him too. My Stribling exposure is at 10%. Yeah, that's solid, man. I'm probably right around there. Need more too. Seriously though, what's the difference between not much? I like both. They like spike. Yes, I do feel though Adonai Mitchell is a bit better. I like Adonai Mitchell's profile a little better, but I get exactly what you're saying for fantasy purposes too, right? Just 2 guys we've been kind of waiting on. All right, we are back up on the board here. We can go different routes here. Should we go? Let's take Kyler. He's falling here. We're going to take a Kyler Murray. We're going to add him to the team. And then what we'll do here is, let's see, taking Coker. I like Kincaid. If Kincaid falls here, I'll take Kincaid. If not, we can go. Let's see. Okay, so Baker goes. Let's take Kincaid. I have DJ already. I know we don't have Josh Allen. That's perfectly fine for me. We still have a portion of that offense. We get Chicago, Denver, and Miami. So if I wanted to correlate that a little bit, which we're kind of behind on, might not work for this team here that we're currently constructing. But I do want a little bit of exposure to Kincaid. I still feel Kincaid is still in a really good spot here to shine as the season goes. I think this is really going to be that year for him where if he can't put it together, they are going to possibly move on from him. But Kincaid was drafted with this idea that he would be better. One of the biggest things that has impacted him the most has been injuries. Injuries has impacted the majority of his career, but given the guys that were still on the board there, Kincaid felt like the right option. So we have a 2-3-5-1 build here. Let's scroll up real quick. We got the 2 spot. We got Bijan Robinson, Malik Neighbors, George Pickens, David Montgomery, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr. We got Dak Prescott, Stephon Diggs. We got Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Kyler Murray, and Dalton Kincaid. Feel strong about someone like Kyler Murray and being able to backsack him. You got guys like Dontavian Wicks, Hawkinson, who I really don't enjoy clicking as much, but there's still other ways that you can add to stack alongside Kyler Murray. This room right here, we can consider maybe even a third guy. We'll see. We talk about this a lot. We've been talking about it the last 3 drafts. Money Ain't a Thing has been hanging out with us all night long. Appreciate Money Ain't a Thing. And we've been talking about the Adonai Mitchell, Geno Smith stacks that quite honestly, I have a ton of. Adonai Mitchell right now, I'm at 30%. Not ashamed to say it, especially with all the good news we're getting about Adonai Mitchell being firmly the wide receiver 2, who's going to be on the field at all times for the most part. Him and Geno working out together this offseason, building that rapport, and just leaning in on that talent. So I'm really excited. Adonai Mitchell right now is my highest exposed wide receiver over here on Best Ball Mania and Underdog. So Adonai Mitchell, someone I like. Geno Smith currently is, I think he's he's tied with a few other guys. So he's kind of like my 4th quarterback here that I've drafted a little bit of. I'm at 14%. And I got a few others there as well. So I've liked that stack. And like I said, I would add Garrett Wilson. My whole thing with this New York Jets offense, right? New York Jets carry this. They just carry this. They're a bit tainted, right? When we think about the New York Jets, we think about how much they fail in the past. And no one thinks anything positive or pro towards them. But the reality is with them is, and there goes Mike Washington Jr. there, getting taken there in the 12th spot. All right, let's also take a look at where we're at here with running backs. I'm going to keep taking a lot of Tank Bigsby, and I think that's the route we go here over Tyron Tracy, who has not been a guy I can click at anymore at this point. Haha, us AM truthers. Yes, sir. Must be getting all the shares. I'm at 34%. And TK, welcome to the channel, by the way. Yes, feels great. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be, I think there should be a massive outing at the end of the year if Adonai Mitchell has like one of those monstrous years. Because I feel the ones, you're either drafting Adonai Mitchell or you're not drafting Adonai Mitchell. And I truly, truly mean that. You're either one way or the other. There's no in between. There's not, hey, let me get a little bit of exposure towards him. No, there's none of that. All right, we got Mark Andrews, falling Mark Andrews. I'm not opposed to Mark Andrews. I think some people are overreacting to Andrews not being it. Listen, you're getting him in round 13, 14. I still love what Mark Andrews is capable of doing for you. So, anywho. But yes, TKL, I am in agreement there with you and a few others that usually are here hanging out with us at night, streaming with us. But yes, Adonai Mitchell, a big time, my guy. We'll see if we get a shot at drafting him around here. Sometimes he's gone by the time I select again, but I already mentioned how much of him I have, so I don't ever feel the need to force it anymore. But if we could get him, I am happy with. Let's go ahead and recap this team. We got a 2-4-5-2 build. We got Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray. At running back, we got Bijan Robinson, David Montgomery, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and then we get Tank Bigsby once again. Been getting a lot of Tank Bigsby. I've been giving a little bit of that as well. At wide receiver, we got Malik Neighbors. We got George Pickens, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, Stephon Diggs. At tight end, we got Dalton Kincaid. and Mark Andrews. I know Nate Man is in the chat as well. He's been here and he is drafting in this Best Ball Mania. And he takes, let's see who he takes. He's got a 1-5-6 build, off to a pretty solid start. Let's see who Nate Man goes there with as he makes his selection. Arturo Flores. Arturo, welcome to the channel. I have the 102. Which are your favorite two? What's to get on the turn? Oh, you're in another draft. Here it says I have the 102. Which are your favorite two? What's to get to on the turn? I've been clicking more at this point, like Bijan. If Gibbs is there, taking Gibbs right at the 102. If Gibbs is there, but it's been Bijan, and then with that other pick there, which would be what, pick number 23, been taking Malik Neighbors. So if Malik Neighbors is there, clicking Malik Neighbors' name all the time there. But yes, the two wide receivers on the turn there. You're talking about the 2-3 turn, but yeah, it would probably be this. Malik Neighbors, maybe Chris Olave. If Chris Olave happened to be there for us, I would select them every time. But yes, if not, George Pickens, I'm cool with. But yes, I would say in a perfect scenario, probably Malik Neighbors and Chris Olave would be the ideal pairing for those wide receivers in that 2-3 turn. All right, we're about to come up here next. And let's see where we're at here. So we could, Flournoy gets taken off the board. Here we go. We got our guy, Adonai Mitchell. No need to worry there. Flournoy gets taken after we had a nice little conversation about him. He says, not scared of Malik. I am not. I was selecting him when in that 3-4 turn, and honestly, now I feel even better with all the news that we're getting out of camp. I believe this week, I think I heard, and I can pull it up here after this click, and I'll get you the exact quotes. But I think they were talking to, I don't know if it was Matt Nagy or Harbaugh. Here, we're back up on the board here real quickly. We can go, let's just take Jadon Blue here. Like I said, I still feel that he's got a really nice role carved out for him. I do like Pat Bryant here too. Let's go Jadon. Let's go Jadon Blue. We're going to take Jadon. All right. But yes, let me get the quote for you on Malik Neighbors. But yes, it had something to do with him not having to wear, I think he was wearing the red contact jerseys, the non-contact jersey for him not to get touched. And let's see. Pull that up here. It says Jordan Renan. We got ESPN NFL Nation reporter for the Giants. Really good reporter. If you guys don't follow him on Twitter right now, there's a chance Malik Neighbors sheds the red no contact jersey this week per John Harbaugh. He says, quote, that's a possibility. We'll just have to see where he's at. Harbaugh said, still 3 weeks out from the opener. Harbaugh adds he doesn't think it's a necessity this week. So things are starting to sound really, really strong with Malik Neighbors. So yes, to answer your question, no, I am not scared of him. Obviously, there is a chance of a re-injury, but that can happen to a lot of other guys as well. He was also talking, it was last week, and he just seems like the vibes are really high with Malik Neighbors, and I'm really digging it right now, loving it to start off the season. He felt like a lot of people were kind of betting against him right now. And he says, my soul's been dead for so long, just being away and knowing what I could have accomplished, knowing where I was before this happened. Every tear, every talk with my family, every down days, just kept that in the back of my head to continue. So we're getting a guy who is motivated and ready to go. And quite honestly, when Malik Neighbors is healthy, he is literally in that 1-2 turn. Honestly, had nothing happened to Malik Neighbors, and we're talking about a healthy Malik Neighbors is even probably going where CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson goes. That's where he was going last season. And I think that is I think it makes all the sense in the world, the type of talent that he is. Well, yes, that's good news, and still a few weeks away in the NFL. So yes. Agreed. If you guys are just joining us for the very first time, welcome on in. We are on our third Best Ball Mania team. This is our 75th BBM team. Had to do this on the stream, had to stick around to do a third team. This is day 16 of 31 days of best ball. We will be back here again tomorrow. So make sure to hit that notification button to know what time we will be on the stream. All right, we're back up here. We got some options. We got Marv. Could be a good spot for Jacoby, but we can probably hold off here for that. I haven't taken, let's go ahead and keep adding a little more Zachariah Branch here. And then maybe we get Jacoby here. And then we'll see what happens. Again, the whole Kyler Murray factor, I don't feel a need to force a I can't even think right now. Force a stack with him. So there's nothing to worry there. But yes, we have two tight ends. Feel good about it. Jacoby Brissett gets taken. So money ain't a thing. If you're still on the stream here, you already know what we're probably going to do in round 18. With that said, let's look deeper here at what options we have. I like Jalen Noe still here. Actually, let's take some more. Let's take some Chris Bell. We can use a Miami team with the Buffalo guys that we have, a Miami player, I should say. But I do like Jalen Noe there. And then the way we're probably going to go would be ideal to get another quarterback here. I am a little bit nervous with the Tua stuff, although he's going to start the season. The Michael Penix stuff that we're starting to hear now that he is back in practice. If Tua does not look good, it's only a matter of time before Tua gets benched and gets benched indefinitely for someone like Michael Penix, who was drafted, yes, by the old regime, but someone who still might get a shot. But yes, the other guy we were thinking of, Carson Beck, in round 18. Now, it's not a I love Carson Beck thing. More to do. We got Marvin Harrison there and how significant he could very well be at the end of the season. Now, I also do believe having Kyler Murray and Dak doesn't necessarily mean there's a need for a third quarterback. But I do feel for best ball purposes, and I'll explain this because redraft, and I have talked about this in the past too in past streams, but I do feel there is some risk with Kyler Murray. So if Kyler Murray goes off to a slow start and honestly can't figure things out, and let's say, you know, if not JJ McCarthy or Carson Wentz, let's just say JJ McCarthy for the sake of the conversation, starts playing really well in practices, starts to look the part, and Kyler's on the bottom end of things where he's trending downwards, we could see a scenario where Kyler gets benched. So that risk is still kind of baked in there with where you're selecting him in the draft. I'm not saying Kyler's going to get benched. I am expecting Kyler to be QB1 for the rest of the year. But there is some possibility there, unlike someone obviously like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's having a bad year. They're not going to bench him for Joe Milton. That is not the scenario there for Dak Prescott. But Kyler Murray is in that type of scenario where those things could happen for him. So with that said, in a best ball format where once he's benched, I can't do anything and we're down to just one quarterback in this room, I'd rather have a third quarterback in this team here to feel a little stronger about. And Jacoby Brissett would have been perfect there. But Carson Beck, we've just been talking about where I feel that Beck, no matter what, is going to be there at the end of the season. It really would have to take some weird and quite honest, some random scenario for Carson Beck not to start or Jacoby Brissett staying on the field. I do feel that. Shedeur Sanders is someone right now we should start considering, quite honestly, with the Deshaun Watson stuff. If anyone didn't hear his presser, it was awful. I mean, dude, awful. If you haven't listened to it, you should definitely take a look at that. But yeah, it was bad. Would not surprise me if they literally just move away from him. But all right, we're gonna go ahead and select Carson Beck here. We have Marvin Harrison, and just makes sense with the way our build is here. So obviously week 14, Kyler Murray better be on the field. Because I didn't even think about that. By week 14 does suck there for us. But nonetheless, the strategy and the thought process is still there. So the Mr. Irrelevant could be relevant pick of the draft is Kamani Vidal. Solid pick there as your final pick in the draft. All right, let's recap this team. This was our 75th best ball team here, guys. 75th team. At quarterback, we got Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Carson Beck. At running back, we got Bijan Robinson, David Montgomery, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, Tank Bigsby, and Jadon Blue. At wide receiver, we got Malik Neighbors, George Pickens, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, Stephon Diggs, Adonai Mitchell, Zachariah Branch, and then we got Chris Bell at the very end of this draft. So some rookies there. And then at tight end, we got Dalton Kincaid and Mark Andrews. Pretty solid, I would say. So yes, this was our third Best Ball Mania of the night. We are drafting from the second spot there. If you guys are just joining us for the very first time, welcome on in. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button. We really do appreciate it. We have had a fun night here doing 3 teams with y'all live. We'll be back tomorrow for our 31 days of best ball. Right now we are on day 16. Tomorrow we would be then on day 17. Looking forward to this upcoming week. We might be drafting from the other site over on DraftKings. So make sure to be ready. So if you guys want to draft alongside with us, be in the chat ready to go. Once we hit enter, you can jump in. We had a few guys in the chat today we were able to draft with, all 3 drafts with, which was really fun and exciting. And make sure to end this stream with letting you guys know that so far things sound pretty good with Ashton Genty, and we hope to hear more positive news in terms of timeline. I think that's a big deal. So once again, thank you guys so much for being here. Have a great night and peace.